multiple environmental problems.
Due to rapid depletion of natural resources because of the neglectful habits of mankind.
It would take over 5 Earths.
5 Earths.
Over 5 Earths.
It would take over 5 Earths to satisfy our demands for natural resources.
The overshoot and collapse phenomenon occurs when a society depletes its available resources. That society then literally collapses as it can no longer support life after all the resources are depleted.
Did you know that Japan, a country that's smaller than the size of California, emits approximately 4.9% of the world's carbon dioxide emission? That's ranking 4th after the United States, China, and Russia. Japan alone emits more carbon dioxide than the entire continent of South America. Although Japan had taken drastic measures in order to reduce these carbon emissions, such as signing the Kyoto Protocol and taking active practices in the UN department UNEP, Japan now has so many people that it is impossible to support its population without trading with other nations. Unfortunately, it is only a matter of time that other nations will no longer have the ability to produce goods to trade with Japan.
Oh, hey there. Didn't see you. What have you? Minamoto Bay was a water source for many Japanese people, many Japanese citizens. They relied on all the fish in that body of water to supply their family because they didn't really have technological advances as we do today in society. They flourished in the 1920s and the population continued to increase. And the people's main income was they fish from the ocean. However, in 1932, there was a factory built next to the body of water.
In 1932, the Chiso company built a chemical factory right next to the bay, and they dumped 27 tons of mercury into the bay, thus greatly harming the fish population. In return, this greatly harmed the economy of the Minamoto Bay people, and they couldn't live sustainably because the mercury in the water was greatly poisoning them. This directly affected the population because all the babies were born with deformities, and the residents had to deal with the poisoning for the rest of their life. To this day, Minamoto Bay is still polluted and can never be used for fishing ever again.
In feudal Japan, there was an abundant amount of natural capital. People fished and relied on the land. During the Industrial Revolution, the Japanese overused their resources and began to degrade their natural capital. The Industrial Revolution also brought forth new technology that brought about an enormous amount of carbon emission, CFCs and other pollutants that greatly affected the environment of Japan. Fortunately, Japan was enlightened through the tragedy of Minamoto Bay and therefore decided to implement new solutions to create a more stable environment to last for generations to come. In an effort to resolve these problems, the Basic Law for Environmental Pollution Control and the Law of the Conservation of the Natural Environment were enacted, and pollution control and nature conservation policies were implemented based upon these laws. Christine?
These policies, combined with efforts of both citizens and local governments, helped in pollution prevention. Technological developments showed remarkable results by the mid-1980s. Japan's efforts to conserve the natural environment revealed considerable results. Since then, Japan has continued steadily in economic growth. Japan is the world's second largest economy, and Japanese production now account for as much as 15% of the total world population. During these years of economic growth, mass production, mass consumption, and mass disposal have become an even more integral part of both Japan's socio-economic activities and its way of life. In conclusion, Japan has had its ups and downs in terms of being environmentally stable. Although at times the environmental mistakes were tragic, Japan has recovered and found ways to amend their mistakes.
Japan has been on an environmental roller coaster. Fortunately, they have taken great strides towards the path to sustainability and sound science.
If every single country in the world followed Japan's examples, we would create a much better world to live in.
We must learn from our mistakes and make changes for the better.
Because Japan has been such a flourishing nation, they have become a role model for the rest of the world.
Governments, communities, and individuals must collectively take action in order to produce a more sustainable environment, comparable to Japan.